Okay, strong collectors play cool. There's a girl. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with a very special guest, Linz from Linz Soapbox. And today we're going to talk about collecting, maybe as a girl, maybe as somebody a little younger. I'm not that old, but I'm getting there. So, Linz, welcome to the Strong Collectors. Thanks for being here. I guess to start off, we should probably understand, how did you get into collecting in the first place?
Okay, so I started collecting because I've loved Marvel my entire life. And it wasn't until like middle school, maybe like my first year of high school, where I discovered Marvel Legends. I remember my first Marvel Legend was the 80th anniversary Iron Man. And my mom bought it for me and my little brother, actually, both of us, at the Disney store. And I guess I fell in love with it and I just kept buying more.
Was that like a shared, whether like here's your both Iron Mans, or was there like an Iron Man for you and an Iron Man for him?
Yeah, an Iron Man for me and an Iron Man for him.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Some like civil rivalry over like, no, it's my turn to get custody of Iron Man.
No, yeah,
Nice,
both of us have it, yeah. And a lot of
cool,
people enjoy that figure now, and it's like you can't buy it anymore, well, unless you buy it secondhand. But
right,
I love it.
nice. All right, so that's kind of the intro to Marvel Legends, but you don't only collect Marvel Legends, right? Like you're also a avid comic book reader. I know you have other displays of like Silver Surfer and things like that.
Yes, I love to read comics, and Silver Surfer is my favorite character. So yeah, I have a little display of him.
So I guess, Jordan and I are usually talking from our, white, not that old, but we're getting oldish. I've got some gray hairs mixed in, but what is it like to be a collector? Like, we'll start off with like being a female collector. Like, do you feel like there's community for that? Are you part of Facebook groups? I know you've got your own like YouTube and Instagram, TikTok and everything that's, super popular, and folks, she's about to blow up. So if you're not subscribed and following her already, go do that. But what has been kind of your experience in collecting as a female?
I think it's interesting because it's not something that like I mention often or like bring up in like my post or something, but it's like one of the things that is commented like one of the most popular comments when people first come across my accounts. And I think, I don't know, I feel like, I mean, we're obviously making a whole video on it, but I think in this case it's like educational, right? But constantly bringing it up, I feel like doesn't do any good because
Mm-hmm.
it like doesn't help normalize it. And for me, like, it's
Sure.
super normal, like it's what I've loved my entire life. And I think it's even like I'm a really open-minded person, and so whatever you look like, whoever you are, whatever you do, like nothing is really a surprise to me. And I think that's actually one of the things that like inspired me to like start posting, because I would look for comic videos and figure videos, and I couldn't find any that like were made of by women. And I remember thinking, there is no way that I am the only one that looks like me that like enjoys these things. And I was like, they're either not posting or I just haven't come across their accounts. And also something that also like really pushed me to like start posting is that I remember one time I was watching this like figure review, and it happened to be a woman figure, and the person doing the review was doing some really interesting comments, and I was like so shocked because I was like, there's nowhere that they are sexualizing this figure. And like I went through the comments and like everyone was agreeing, and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Like I feel like I felt uncomfortable, right? I was like, it's
Mm-hmm.
so crazy that like they're treating this figure like the same way they would treat women or a woman like in real life, and it was just like so mind boggling to me. And I was like, I think that like I really need to like start posting, and hopefully, I guess, in a way I can become like the voice and like the space that I was so desperately looking for, right? Because I was like, this is supposed to be like my happy place, like my safe space, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't haven't been able to find that with other people, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, and I, not even from my perspective, I do find those kind of reviews weird, or like I remember when the Engine of Vengeance was like going through their tiers and they showed Madeline Pryor and like the comments were in an uproar because it's like, oh, there's not enough underboob, and it's like,
Yeah.
relax. And that's almost where like I think like the Savage Land 3-pack that came out, like to me I'm almost just like put off by the Savage Land in general, just because to me it's always been like, oh, this is like your sexualized barbarian outfits for your superhero girls, and I was like, that just seems weird to me. So yeah, that totally makes sense. And how do you feel that Marvel Legends or Hasbro is doing with their female figures?
I think I'm really happy with the like most recent like woman body mold. Like I
Mhm.
love like the Black Widow one. I love that one so much because like all of the women figures that I have, specifically the Spider-Woman one, oh my gosh, that one frustrates me so much. I don't like that one at all. And when they came out with that Black Widow one, I was like, this is it. This is the one that I have been waiting for because
Mhm.
also like they're really like delicate. Like you can't if you try to stand them, they'll fall over. And I think that like Black Widow one is a lot better just functionally, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that makes sense because I know, like, especially now, like anytime like a female figure especially comes out with like single jointed elbows, I'm just like, ah, this is so old. And like not everything has to be on the, you know, Black Widow body, because I understand there's molds and you can only do so
Yeah.
many in a year or whatever. But like at least put it on the Shriek body or something. But I do think they are getting a lot better with like the Power Princess, and the She Hulk is cool too. So I do think they are, you know, making steps. It just took a little while to get there.
Yeah. And I
If
will give them props. I feel like well, I mean, I only collect Marvel Legends, but like from what
Mhm.
I've seen, I feel like Marvel Legends is a it's not perfect, but it is like they do a lot better job putting out like women figures.
Is there like a certain style that you collect? Like you use strictly comic book? Do you do MCU? Is there, you're like, I don't collect any Gamerverse? Like, do you have any parameters that you set yourself in so that you're not like a completist, or are you a completist?
Usually, I just stick to comic ones. There are a few exceptions. Like I have, for example, the No Way Home ones, Toby, Andrew, and Tom. I feel like those
Hmm.
were that's my childhood. So like I had to buy
Hmm.
those. And even with the Fantastic Four ones, because I'm really excited for the Fantastic Four, those are ones that I'm like, maybe I will buy them. But usually just comic ones.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what we try to stick to too, just because, I mean, to me, like, I mean, space is limited.
Hmm.
Maybe somebody has the ginormous Batcave style display room, but that's not what I have, especially now. So yeah, trying to keep some sort of like parameters on my collecting, but then if it looks cool, I probably have to get even. And
Yeah.
I personally like when I don't know who the character is, so I can get the action figure and then maybe I'll read about him and then be like, oh, actually, this is kind of a cool character. That's kind of what happened with Chris Starr, because I had the toy as a kid, never knew anything about him. They announced the Marvel Legend, and I'm like, oh, I should go get these comics and start reading. Let's go back to kind of your online presence. How do you feel like do you feel like you're building that community that you were looking for, and kind of how has that gone from, because like you said, you're not trying to be like be the girl that you're always just like, hey guys, I'm a girl collector. You're just trying to be, I'm just a collector for the people. So like how do you feel like your community has grown so far, because it seems like it's growing pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, I will say that the demographic is still mainly what you would assume. But I have gotten like a couple messages of women saying that like it's so nice like coming across my account. So yeah.
Nice. Cool. Are there any other, like now that you've been doing it and you're kind of in the space, have you found other like channels to follow as well?
I think mainly what's interesting is that for like comic accounts that mainly focus on comics, there's so many women. But for
Mm.
figures, that's where I still struggle trying to find. But yeah.
Okay. Because I know, like, I also don't really know too many others, especially in the Marvel Legends realm. I know Mythic Legions. I don't know if you've looked at them or not. That's a good figure. So if you want kind of fantasy stuff, but they have like a full like all female community within kind of within that collecting space too. So it seems like it's kind of growing. So that's
I'm
good.
sure they're out there. They're out there.
Right. All right. So what out of your collection that you currently own, do you have like a favorite or like a couple favorites? It's always hard to pick like your favorite kid, but like, do you have a favorite Marvel Legend?
Yes, I have a few. I love the like big and bulky figures. I think those are so adorable. So for example, like MODOK, I think MODOK is so cute. I love Thanos. I love Thanos so much. She-Hulk, I love my She-Hulk figure. Who else? So I'm okay, I'm just gonna throw Silver Surfer in there simply because he's my
Sure.
favorite. Nothing
Which
crazy
Silver
about the figure.
Surfer? Which one do you have, or
I
which one's the
have
best?
just the normal like the not the Galactic
Walgreens.
HasLab.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I don't have the HasLab,
Okay.
or the Obsidian one. Just like yeah, the
Okay.
green, the Walgreens exclusive, I think
Yep.
it was. What else? I love Thing. He's also really big. I think yeah, those. I think I listed five. Those
Okay.
are yeah. I can't choose one, so I give you five.
Understandable. Which thing is the best thing?
I only have one. It's
Okay.
the that's the I don't I think that's also Walgreens. I'm not sure. I don't know
Okay.
specific.
Walgreens is one of my like he's if he's not in my top 10 all-time Marvel Legends, he's very close. I love that thing. Okay, so that's the ones that you own. What about are there any that Hasbro's or even Toy Biz if you want to go Toy Biz, but are there any figures that you're like, "Ooh, that's kind of like a grail or something you're hunting for?"
The HasLab, the Galactus
Yeah.
HasLab. I don't think I would ever buy it, but I have been really tempted. I think the reason why I haven't bought it is because I haven't found like a reliable, I'm scared to get scammed. I'm scared to get scammed.
Sure.
But the HasLab, that's the one. That's the one I
Okay.
want.
Understandable. And I do have the HasLab Galactus and it is
I've seen.
it's everything you hope it is, and it's
Mhm.
when you can get it, it's good. Maybe you could go with the Toy Biz Build a Figure first, because that's also a very good figure, and it's a lot cheaper than the HasLab.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I do love the Toy Biz one. So there's other options to as you graduate up to the HasLab. What about any Marvel Legends that they haven't made yet that you're like, ooh, this is if they make this one, that's going to be a day one pre-order, and I will be so excited.
So one that they haven't done ever before, like a character, or it could just be.
It could be an update if it needs to be an update.
Okay, I'm gonna say the Fantastic Four. Right now, that's what I'm just like. I really thought that for like the movie. I thought they were gonna give out like new comic ones, but no,
Hmm.
they didn't. But I really want the Fantastic Four because I only have Thing, and I have a shelf. I have an extra shelf on the bottom that doesn't have figures, and I'm saving that for the Fantastic Four. I just. But I've also okay, so I've also been thinking because I'm gonna redo my like Spider-Man shelf, and so we were just talking about this, but there are like no like Spider Woman. Like we already talked about the old Spider Woman, like the Jessica
Right.
Jones one. Not my favorite, but I do have it. I think I have Spinneret, but those are like the only. Oh, and I have Silk, but
Okay.
that's it. And I don't think there's really much of a variety, but I would love some more like Spider Woman characters. Also, this is like super random, but I would love a like Agatha Harkness figure. I think that would be so fun because like I don't know, an older woman would be so funny. I don't know.
Okay.
And also a Madam Web. I think that would be hilarious. I know the movie, but I think it would be funny to have a Madam Web figure.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't done a Madam Web, which I kind of understand. Like maybe the chair she sits in is a little bit challenging, but still, I think as a deluxe, I think it could work. And I agree. I could go for another like an update now of the Ghost Spider, like a Gwen Gwen Stacy, because I know that there's the older ones, and there's always those like kind of more stylized Spider Verse ones.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a nice comic one. But yeah, I'm always hoping for a Kashala, like the Ghost Rider, Sorcerer Supreme. That's a pretty deep cut. I don't think we would maybe ever see. And then I hope with the new Ironheart show that we can get kind of a comic pink Ironheart. So that's a fingers crossed for that one.
I
But I
saw
think
I
go
saw a
ahead.
figure of her recently at a comic shop. I didn't even know she had a figure, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so cool!" So it'd be nice to
Yeah.
like get another one for her.
That's like, I mean, I think it was a couple of our because we kind of do each year kind of our top 10 all-time Marvel Legends, and Ironheart's been on at least two of my top 10s, maybe all of them, because I love that figure. Like I think it could have a better like it doesn't hinge forward at the diaphragm very well, but I just love Ironheart as a character, so I would love more. I could see them doing more comic book Fantastic Fours, especially if the movie does well, because I think even like having them as like maximum styles, like I think almost all of them could work for that, especially Mr. Fantastic, because getting him with like more stretchy effects would be really cool. Like not just the arms, like the Ronin wave, like way old Hasbro, he was like fully stretched out. But that's the only time he's ever had that whole power set. So we could use an update there.
Also, I just realized, I mean, I would want a figure of like every single character ever, but I was thinking recently Mephisto. I would love a Mephisto. I would love a
Yeah.
Death. Who else? There was another one. I recently mentioned Nebula in one of my figures or one of my videos, so I think that one too. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Any character, any and every.
right. Because you were doing the like Infinity Gauntlet switches, and you were saying that like Nebula would be a good one to be wearing the Infinity Gauntlet that came with Adam Warlock. That's going to do it for our episode with Linz. Make sure you go follow her on TikTok, Instagram. She's got a podcast on YouTube. She's all over the place. Go subscribe and follow. Make sure you're liking and sharing and subscribing to this podcast. And until next time, stay strong.